Do you observe, sometimes we see people who looks very tough from outside, but from inside they are very emotional. In this video, I will explain 7 types of people with dark side which are hiding from others, like being tough guy. Some people have traits that make them seem strong and confident. Others seem nice and friendly. Some people seem morally good and saintly. Others seem tough and rugged. Some people seem to have very strong personality traits, like being really outgoing or always being happy. But in all above people, if you look closely, you might notice that these traits are exaggerated, like the person is performing or putting on a show. As a student of human nature, you should understand that these people are usually hiding their opposite trait, which is usually the opposite of what they're showing on the surface. There is 2 forms of this. First, some people have a hard time when they are young because they are insecure and they develop a resilience to protect themselves. So they act tough to hide it. Second, if someone has a quality that might be considered bad by other people, they can try to develop the opposite quality to make themselves seem more good. In both forms, people put on a fake persona to make themselves seem better than they really are. They might act like they're perfect, but everyone has a shadow side, that is the part of them they try to hide. The shadow is usually made up of things they don't like about themselves or things they're afraid of. As people get older, it becomes harder and harder to keep up the act, and their shadow side starts to come out. Your task is simple. You should be wary of people who seem very sure of themselves and their opinions. They might be trying to trick you. Pay attention to how they act over time, and it will be easier to deal with them. Here are 7 of the most common and Fanatic traits that you must learn to recognize and manage appropriately. 1. The tough guy. Some men try to look tough to intimidate people. They'd walk with a swagger and act like they're better than everyone else. They might boast about things they'd done in the past, like how many women they've slept with or how many fights they'd won. But sometimes these men are actually really sensitive on the inside and might cry or have a tantrum. They get embarrassed by this and try to cover it up by acting tough again. Reggie Jackson was a baseball player who played for the Yankees. His manager, Billy Martin, kind of tough guy, but also he was a very emotional person who made some bad decisions because of it. Jackson could see that Martin was actually quite insecure, despite his bluster. Men like Martin often marry women who dominate them, even though they want to be the ones in charge. You shouldn't be scared of people who seem tough on the outside, but you also shouldn't make them doubt themselves or their masculinity, because they get easily upset and might give you a mean look. If they're your rival, you can easily make them do something that shows they're not really tough. 2. The saint. These people try to seem like they are perfect and always do the right thing. They support causes that they think are good, and they can be spiritual if they are around other spiritual people. They might seem like they have lots of compassion for people who are victims, but sometimes this is just a way to get attention and power. Once they have power, they might become really mean to people who they think are not good enough. They might lead a cult or political party, but they can also be very intolerant and punitive. There are people in the world who act like they are saints, but are actually secretly interested in things that are bad, like sex and money. These people might look good on the outside, but their family or friends might know that they have a dark side. You can usually tell if someone is fake by looking at their actions and how they act around others. If you think someone might be fake, it is best to keep your distance. 3. The passive-aggressive charmer. These people are really friendly when you first meet them, and they always seem willing to help. You might hire them for a job or help them in their career at some point. But eventually you'll notice that there are some problems with them. You may eventually notice some cracks in their personality. They may make a critical comment out of the blue, or you may hear from friends that they have been talking about you behind your back. Eventually, something ugly may occur, like a blow-up or some act of sabotage or betrayal. These people are born with a tendency to be aggressive and envious, and they know that this will make life difficult for them. So they put on a fake niceness that allows them to gain social power, but they get tired of having to act this way and will eventually lash out and hurt the people they know. They seem really nice, but they're actually secretly mean. They do this because they want power, and they know that being nice will help them get it. Your best defense to recognize this sign first. People seem really friendly at first, but they might be trying to take advantage of you. Be careful of people who are too quick to be your friend, and watch out for early warning signs like mean comments. If you see someone being gossipy about someone else, they might do the same thing to you one day. 4. The fanatic. This person is very passionate about something and is convincing others to support their cause. They are determined to make things better and have a lot of confidence. People are drawn to them because of their strong beliefs and exciting personality. But sometimes, when it really matters, they mess up. It's like they don't really believe in themselves or they want to fail. These people act like they're really confident and sure of themselves, but they're actually really insecure and have a lot of self-doubt. They might change their beliefs a lot because they're not really attached to any particular belief. They just like feeling sure of something. But eventually their self-doubt catches up with them and they start making bad decisions. Some people are really good at pretending to be confident, even when they have doubts. It's important not to believe everything people say and to be careful about following someone who might not have your best interests at heart. 5. The rigid rationalist. All of us have irrational tendencies. It means that we often do things that don't make sense, and this is because of our primitive origins. We will never be able to get rid of these tendencies. For example, we might believe in superstitions, see connections between events that don't have a connection, or be fascinated by coincidences. We might also think that other people and things around us have the same feelings as us. We should just accept that this is part of who we are. Sometimes it can be fun to act irrational, like when we tell jokes or do something meaningless. But some people get uncomfortable when they think about this side of themselves. They might think that being irrational is bad and that everything should be clear and logical. But the truth is, nobody can really prove or disprove whether or not God exists. It's just something that people believe in. These people who keep their feelings hidden. They tend to be very serious and intellectual, but they also have a dark side that can come out in unexpected ways. If you can get them to overreact, it will reveal their true nature. 6. The Snob. Some people are really into seeming different and better than others. They like to show off their knowledge of art, movies, wine, and punk rock records. They care a lot about how they look, and they usually have interesting stories about their lives. But sometimes these stories aren't true. They might lie about their background or where they come from. The truth is that a lot of life is spent doing boring and tedious tasks. Most people's parents had normal, unglamorous jobs. Everyone has mediocre sides to their character and skills. Snobs are especially sensitive about this, greatly insecure about their origins and possible mediocrity. Their way of dealing with this is to distract and deceive with appearances, surrounding themselves with the extraordinary and with special knowledge. Underneath it all is the real person waiting to come out, rather ordinary and not so very different. Some people are different than others, but that doesn't make them better. In fact, sometimes people who are different are embarrassed by it. A good example is Abraham Lincoln. He was a very different person, but he didn't act like it. 7. The extreme entrepreneur. These people seem to have a lot of good qualities for work, like always having high standards and being detail-oriented. They'd also like to do things themselves. But sometimes this can mean that they don't listen to others or take advice. And if they're successful, they can end up with too much responsibility. If someone is self-reliant, they know how to delegate tasks to others and still maintain control. However, sometimes people have a dark side that can take over and ruin everything. If this happens, they become dependent on others for help and their life falls apart. Some people put on a brave front even though they want others to take care of them, like they did when they were children. This might be because they're afraid of appearing weak. They might not even realize they're doing it, but there are usually signs that something's going on, like if they keep getting sick or if they start acting like they need a lot of attention. If things get really bad, they might not be able to stop themselves from causing problems for other people. It's probably best to stay away from people like this if you can. By knowing the 7 types of people, you can become more aware of them. Hey, thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. It will make my day.